So we're diving into a whole stack of reports today, from the Mitchell Institute, Anduril, Boeing, and they all seem to point to this really tricky paradox in modern air warfare.
They really do. It's like we engineered ourselves into a corner, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. We have these sixth-gen fighters, the NGAD program, that are just about invincible.
But they're so incredibly expensive that you simply can't afford to build enough of them.
And you definitely can't afford to lose the pilot inside.
That's the cost trap right there.
Yeah.
It's that classic inverse relationship between, capability and capacity.
So you end up with the most advanced Air Force in the world, but it's brittle.
Brittle is the perfect word. You lose just a few of those key airframes, and your entire combat power just collapses, which is why the whole doctrine is shifting towards this idea of affordable mass.
And affordable mass is the perfect segue into collaborative combat aircraft, or CCAs.
Right. But I think the key word here isn't really drone in the way most people think of it.
No, it's attritable, isn't it?
Exactly. Attritable. We're talking about an asset that might cost, say, $30 million.
Which sounds like a lot, but it's a tiny fraction of a manned fighter.
A tiny fraction. Yeah. And that means you can afford to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
It stops being a national tragedy if one gets shot down. It becomes, well, a tactical calculation.
Then that calculation, it completely changes the strategy, right? It creates this massive force multiplier effect.
Mm-hmm. Instead of one pilot and one jet trying to manage everything,
you put that pilot in, say, an F-35 or maybe an E-7 Wedgetail, and they become
a quarterback. That's the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
They're directing a whole squad of 3, maybe 5 of these autonomous wingmen.
So it's like you're playing chess, but you suddenly have 5 times as many pieces on the board as your opponent.
And we're already seeing this in practice. I mean, the reports from Boeing on the MQ-28 Ghost Bat are pretty clear.
Oh, the Australian program.
Yeah. They describe a test where an E-7 and an F-18 were managing the kill chain authority.
So making the big decisions.
Right. But it was the Ghost Bat, the autonomous drone, that actually flew the intercept and executed the mission on its own.
That separation of roles is, well, it's revolutionary, isn't it? The human calls the play, but the robot actually runs it?
It keeps the human safe, way back from the fight, while still projecting force right into the threat arena.
And they're doing a lot more than just scouting, too. I was reading that the Block 3 Ghost Bat now has internal weapons bays.
Yeah, so now they're weapons trucks. They can haul extra AMRAAMs or glide bombs without messing up their stealth profile.
Which lets the manned jet hang back even further, totally silent.
But then there's an even more aggressive role. The Mitchell Institute talks about using them as decoys.
Right, the, what do they call it? The brawler pulse.
That's the one. You fly these CCAs aggressively right at the enemy's air defenses.
You're baiting them?
You're baiting them into turning on their radars, firing off their really expensive interceptors at what is, a relatively cheap drone.
And once they light up, they've revealed their position, and the manned fleet can just take them out.
Okay, but there's a huge technical hurdle to all of this.
The communications.
Exactly. If you send a drone that deep into enemy territory against a peer adversary, you have to assume you're in a jamming environment. The data link to the pilot is going to get cut.
So you can't just remote control them like a Reaper drone?
No way. It's impossible.
And
that's where the brain comes in. This is what the SHIELD AI reports are so adamant about.
They talk about autonomy at the edge with their Hivemind software.
Right. Hivemind is basically an AI pilot. It doesn't need GPS. It doesn't need waypoints. If the comms link is jammed,
it just keeps fighting the mission.
It keeps fighting. It reads the battlefield. It can dogfight. It can breach air defenses, all on its own.
And to keep that from just becoming total chaos, you have systems like Induril's Lattice.
The nervous system, yeah. It fuses all that data together so the human quarterback isn't just completely overwhelmed.
And they're already testing this stuff. Prototypes like the Fury, the YFQ-44A, can supposedly take off, fight, and land with basically a single command.
It really feels like the industrialization of air combat.
Yeah.
We're shifting away from just buying planes.
And moving toward buying systems that restore that crucial mass to the fleet.
Yeah.
It does make you wonder, though. I mean, if this loyal wingman is cheap enough that you can lose it, and it's smart enough to fly without GPS, and it's carrying the exact same missiles as the manned jet.
Where are you going with this?
Well, at what point does the human, the person in the cockpit, actually become the slowest part of the kill chain?
That is the billion-dollar question. And I think the answer is going to define the next decade of air warfare.
Something for all of us to think about. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive.